Farmersville, Texas is a small town outside of Dallas where everyone knows each other. Things are usually pretty quiet around here, but what seemed to be an ordinary day in this small town turned out to be a horrific nightmare.
Her house around 7 in the morning to check on her, and I couldn't believe it when I saw Avery lying on Rochelle's bed alone. My heart instantly dropped, and I knew something was wrong because Rochelle would never leave her baby alone, and I looked in closets all around the house and I couldn't find her anywhere. But it was so weird because her purse and her car were still there.
The headboard had fallen, the bed was moved, and the nightstand had been pushed away. Rochelle's divorce papers were scattered on the floor with a partial shoe print.
Andrew, can you hear me?
Yeah. What's up?
Rochelle is missing. We can't find her anywhere. Have you seen her?
Look, I really can't talk right now. I'm at work. She's probably just at a friend's house.
Farmersville Police. Andrew, are you in there? Are you Andrew Tollison?
Yes.
We're here to interview you about the disappearance of your wife, Rochelle. Do you mind if we come in?
Actually, I would rather talk outside.
So where were you last night?
I was at a party with some friends.
Was Rochelle also at that party?
I don't know. I haven't talked to her in a week. After she told me she wanted to divorce me, I left her alone because she didn't want anything to do with me.
Okay, we're gonna start a search party and notify the whole town about this. You let us know if you find anything else out. Just as investigators were about to give up on the case of Rochelle's disappearance, a man from the town was able to help them out.
Yeah, I was on a hike on a state lane out lake. It was a beautiful day, but I looked down like, oh my God, are those bones? I called the police right away. I told them I think I might have found that missing girl.
Police compared the teeth of the charred remains found in the woods about 10 miles from Rochelle's house to the dental records of Rochelle Tollison. They were a perfect match.
I also found a few pieces of wood right next to her body.
I couldn't believe it. I kept expecting my baby girl just to come home. This is just a nightmare that I would never wake up from.
Investigators thought the only suspect could have been Andrew Tollison. However, he had an alibi for the night of Rochelle's disappearance. Although his alibi seemed to check out at first, investigators later discovered that there was a bonfire at this party. This might indicate that the fire at the party was burned with the same type of wood as the wood used to cremate Rochelle's body.
We were able to conclude that both the wood from the crime scene and the wood from the bonfire were both mesquite. However, we weren't able to determine that the wood came from the same source, as mesquite trees are quite common. The rings were virtually useless, and there was no distinctive saw marks. We had recently come up with this new technology of a laser that is able to identify the different elements of wood.
It had never been used in a crime scene before, but investigators figured with nothing else it was worth a shot. The wood from the crime scene and the wood from the bonfire had an identical makeup of elements.
They both had an unusual amount of titanium, which is not an element found in wood. We knew right away that this had to be from the same group of trees, if not the same tree.
So as you know, the wood from the bonfire came from the same group of trees that the wood near Rochelle's body came from. Do you have any idea where that wood came from?
It's not mine.
Whose is it then?
I think Mendoza brought the firewood to
Is
that
it true
party.
that you supplied the firewood for the party?
Yeah, I did.
And do you know anything about Rochelle's disappearance and murder?
I do not.
Really? You didn't have any connection to her, any feelings for her, any motive to kill her?
Of course not.
It's only a matter of time before the truth comes out, Mendoza.
Investigators just had a big break in the case of Rochelle Tollison. They found out that the wood used to cremate Rochelle's body was identical to the wood used at a bonfire the night of her disappearance and murder, and that Mendoza was the one who supplied it. They now had a new lead on Rochelle's possible killer.
As soon as we thought it might be Mendoza, we began looking into it right away. One of the divorce papers in Rochelle's house had partial shoe print on it. We asked Mendoza if we could use his shoe to run some tests. We stamped it to compare the marks on the shoe to the marks on the divorce paper. They were a perfect match. We even found accidental marks that just comes from regular wearing of the shoe, and it matched perfectly on both prints.
While searching Mendoza's house, we were also able to find another piece of evidence that linked him to this murder. Mendoza had a pair of jeans with a blood spatter on them. We tested the DNA from Michelle's body and compared it to the blood spatter on his jeans. They were a perfect match. At this point, investigators were confident that they had found their killer.
I just knew something wasn't right. Yes, Andrew was upset about the divorce, but he loved Rochelle. I mean, she was the mother of his baby. He would never hurt her.
Investigators had everything they needed to find Mendoza guilty, but they were just missing one thing, a motive. The story of what really happened that night finally came out.
Hey Mendoza, what's up?
Hey, nothing much. I was wondering if Rochelle was here.
I haven't seen her. Why?
Oh, I just didn't know how everything was going since, you know.
Yeah, we haven't talked that much. I hope we can get along for Avery's sake.
Alright, well, I'll catch you later.
Okay, see you around.
Mendoza saw Andrew at that party without Rochelle. He knew that she must have been home alone. He got in his car and drove to her house. Hey, how have you been? Honestly, pretty stressed out with everything going on with Andrew lately. Oh, well, I know how to take your mind off things. Look, I really don't want to cause any trouble. It's okay. We just won't tell Andrew. It's not about Andrew. I'm just really not interested in you in that way. This is when Mendoza got violent. He couldn't deal with the rejection from his childhood lover. He raped her to get what he wanted. Then he brutally stabbed her and strangled her to death, causing the blood spatter on his jeans. He drug her dead body through the kitchen where he stepped on one of the divorce papers. He tried to destroy the evidence by burning her body in the woods, but it was that fire that led us to the killer.
We are all here today to see if Moses Mendoza is guilty of first-degree murder of Rochelle.
It all felt like a dream. I just kept thinking I was going to wake up and see Rochelle around town, but I never did. I really killed this woman.
Moses Mendoza has pled guilty to murder in the first degree. He will be sentenced to death, and this concludes the case. I just can't believe it. They grew up together. I don't know how he had the heart to do that to another human being, an innocent human being. Everybody loved Rochelle.
Mendoza thought he could destroy the evidence and get away with it. But thanks to a new type of technology, investigators were able to uncover the truth.